The hanging tree is something else. You know, I feel like coming from the South, there's always a chance that I'll either come across some land, a tree, an old house that has some sort of racist history, and to know the violence that was set upon our people and that was sanctioned by the state in ways that really hasn't changed to this day. But it's a beautiful thing to see us retake ownership and reclaim lands that were trifled on, because I ain't gonna claim to know everything, but I do feel like I know Mother Nature is on our side and she holds our memory. So to be able to come in partnership with her in that way and ensure that peace is what continues to set upon that land, I think that is beyond anything that we could do physically. Like, it's bigger than us for sure. So when we think about Black people and white dominated spaces, there's often the assumption that we'll be boxed out, closed out, that there's challenges. Can you talk to us about what navigating those challenges might be, if any at all?
I think some of the challenges is the education. Because when we pull up the raw numbers of who owns what throughout this country, we're last in the space. Blacks own less than 3% of all commercial land, less than 2% of all agricultural land, and less than 1% of all farmland. We pretty much don't exist when it comes to that space. So I think it's the education, knowing that this exists, knowing that this has always existed. Land is the first real estate transaction in the history of real estate. And once we start to tap into those things, we can begin to take those resources and bring it back to our community and take advantage of all that the space has to offer.
So it doesn't feel like a whole lot of red tape?
No,
do you think?
No,
okay.
I don't think a lot of red tape at all. I think, like my partner said, it's just a matter of understanding and getting the information. See, there's one thing that we know already. You can get information and not execute on the information. The major thing that we see with a lot of people, they get information, but they have a challenge with actually executing with that information. So there's a barrier and a bridge right there, and those are some of the things that we help people get over, that bridge of actually from inception to actually doing the actual work. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think your long-term vision is for Acre Boyzz?
Yeah, my long-term vision for Acre Boyzz is to continue to put this message out there on the highest level as possible, so we can get this to a massive amount of people's ears. Once we do that, that's when we can come in and have those strategic partnerships. Like, we're not farmers, but we were smart enough to partner with a farmer that's already in business, and that way now we have Acre Boyzz farming. Then we can start to pool money, put our resources together and buy bigger lands and start to cultivate subdivisions and start to come up with our own houses and our housing communities and things like that. So just our task is to make this cool as possible, so the masses can say, hey, let me give an ear to that and see what's going on. The same way you tune into your favorite rap song, I want them to be able to tune into something that's tangible and something that they can begin doing immediately with their families.
See, I'm a big quote person, right? And one of my favorite quotes that I have on my wall is that the uneducated man is not the person that didn't go to school. The uneducated man is the person that has lost his ability to unlearn and relearn. So once all of these things out here in this ecosystem, what we have learned over trial and error throughout this whole time is to unlearn a lot of the old behavior that we have, because in order to get something new, you have to do something different. The old you never qualifies for new results. So this is why it's so important, like my partner said, to bring this message out here to the people, because now this is cool. Like, we're talking about rappers and different things like this. This is, hence, Acre Boyzz, all these different things. We look like you. We may have on Rolexes, whatever the case may be, because for our people, here's what has to happen. In order for, unfortunately, for our people, it has to be sexy. You have to have something to draw them in, and then they tend to listen as they go through the information, for sure.
And
definitely.
that's strategy, and that's strategy, and that makes sense.
For sure.